Alright, y'all, it's your girl Sierra. If you're welcome to my channel, if you're new here, welcome to it or whatever. My channel is going to be about everything. Some will be of me singing songs, some will be of story times, all that. This one is a story time of my 48-hour labor with my son. Okay, so I went to Good Samaritan Hospital for my obstetrics appointments. I first found out I was pregnant February 3rd of 2016 at 1:31 in the morning, or 1:30 in the morning, I believe. The doctor, because I was sick, I was having chest pains or whatever, and I believe that was Central Baptist Hospital I went to that night or whatever, because it was a little closer to where I lived in Lexington. Okay. Anyways, they did all the tests or whatever, and he said, well, I'm going to order some x-rays and stuff or whatever. He did the urine analysis, and that came back with a UTI UTI. And then also with that, he came back about 30 minutes after UA was taken. He said, well, Miss Hester, we can't do what we want to do because the good news is you're pregnant. And I was like, oh, what? I cried because, that's my response when I find out good news. It's crying sometimes. Most of the time I don't like crying in front of people, but this was a February. I was cold. I was wearing a long sleeve and whatever, So it's like, okay, well, let's run an ultrasound to see, how far along you are or whatever. So I went to ultrasound and they did a transvaginal ultrasound. Oh, by the way, this channel is gonna have some. My channel is going to be about different stuff, so preferably if you're not 13 or older, viewer discretion is advised. But anyways, all the people who's had babies know what a transvaginal ultrasound is. They did that, and they was, moving around or whatever, and I was measuring at 6 weeks, 2 days. Okay, they did the measurements of the baby. His heart rate was 172 beats per minute at that time. So I was like, okay, well, you need to get set up with appointments with stuff, get an OB, and do all that stuff. Okay, so, my OB's name, I'll just call her Dr. OB. Because like I said, I don't put people's names. It's nothing like she was a great OB. I went once a month, check up on the baby, the heart rate or whatever, the stuff they normally do. And then I was 30 weeks, I believe, when they wanted to start seeing me every week because of my blood pressure kept on, fluctuating. It wasn't too awfully high up until the end. I'll get to that part. I started seeing once a week, and I had to do NSTs, which is no stress test, which they pretty much monitor, see if you have contractions or if the baby's under any distress or whatever, how that goes. Anyways. Okay. He was due October 11th, by the way, but okay, That went on. I started seeing him every week. Went to NSTs twice a week. Because he was measuring really big for how many weeks I was along, okay? So then that happened at 39 weeks and, I want to say 5 days, I believe. Or 4 or 5 days. 39 weeks and 4 days. I went for my last OB appointment before my due date, They did my blood pressure and whatnot. My blood pressure was like 182/98. And she was like, okay, here's the deal. I was going to induce you tomorrow, which was a Friday. It was a Friday that she was going to induce me. But she started inducing me that day, which was on a Thursday. October 5th of 2016. Okay, so then they do all that. She said, here's the deal. okay, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to get to your house, get your stuff, and come back to the hospital. She said, because your blood pressure is super high, you've got swelling, and you tested positive for group B strep, which is a bacterial growth that grows in pregnant women, more or less. Okay, so I was like, okay. Thankfully, she said, if you ain't back here, I'll come get you myself or send an ambulance out. So I was there and back within about, I want to say 20 minutes. I don't exactly know. And my friend was driving, and my friend was so helpful. Like, if you ever watch my channel, Lexi, you know, I still love you. You're still my friend, you know. You'll always be my friend because you've helped me through some tough stuff. But she drove me there and drove me back, setting, you know, getting checked in or whatnot, walking in labor delivery unit. And they was like, okay, so we're going to put a Foley catheter and antibiotics, magnesium, and Pictocin. The antibiotics was penicillin. Okay, so they did that, and I couldn't get up and pee. I got mad, but, you know, it was all for the health. So it was 2 days later. Okay, they had been checking me about every 2 hours to see how far I dilated. 2 hours later, 2 days later, and after they broke my water twice, the doctor came in and said, we're going to have to do you an emergency C-section because you said you stopped dilating at 4 centimeters and he's going into distress because of the magnesium. Okay, I was like, okay, that was about 4:15-ish, if I remember correctly. Because he was born at 4:31 p.m. on October 7th. I was like, alright, okay, you know, whatever. So they took me back to the room, the operating room, and I'd already had my epidural in by then, but they had to take it out and replace it. So, you know, they was like, okay, we're going to start giving you medicine, you know, your doctor will be here in a few minutes, or whatever. So I was like, okay, you know, they said this medicine was supposed to, like, knock me out, make me go to sleep. It didn't. I mean, ultimately, I was worried about my child more than me going to sleep. Okay, so about 4:15, they came in and start cutting me open and doing this and that and the other. And like I said, I had an emergency C-section. They started cutting me open and, you know, doing what they do. And then, well, after they cut out and they started pulling his head out, it was painful as hell. The medicine really wasn't working. It was painful as hell. As soon as they got him pulled out and started sewing me up or whatever, they immediately took him straight to the NICU because of his oxygen levels were like, I want to say 80% or 70 or 80, in between 70 and 80. And they said that was from the stress of the magnesium. It's like, okay, you know. So finally, after they got him out and, you know, took him up to the NICU, which is neonatal intensive care unit. You know, I took him up there or whatever. And while they were sewing me up, I fell asleep. I woke up at about 10 p.m. that night. I said, I want to go see my baby. And I couldn't walk up there, you know. They wouldn't let me walk up there. And then my blood pressure was still high even after that. So they continued giving me medicine. I was supposed to be out in 3 days. Ended up staying a week. I know. Like, hey, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, we gotta get your blood pressure down. Anyways, the first 3 days of my son's life, I did not get to hold him because he was on what they call a cooling protocol because of his oxygen and his lipid panel, I believe, was fluctuating a lot or whatever. So I was like, okay, you know. That third day, when I got to hold him, they didn't come in and ask me his name till the second day or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm going to name him Caden Ayaz Hester. Okay, I was like, okay, da-da-da, Miss Baby Hester. Anyways, so I was like, okay, you know, 3 days I didn't get a hold of him. He stayed in the NICU for 4 days. 3.5, 4 days, you know, roundabouts that, which is neonatal intensive care unit at UK Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay, so he stayed there, and then the third day when I finally got the hold of him, I just held him for a little bit, did kangaroo time, which is skin-to-skin contact when a child's first born, which I did not get to do when he was first born due to his difficulties. Okay, so about 3 days, he had graduated the NICU. 3.5, 4 days, graduated NICU, and stayed in the nursery for 3 days, you know. So I went down there every chance I got to see him. Me and him got out on the same exact day. But I think I got out a day before he did. A day. But I was still up at that hospital. I didn't go to sleep, you know, until I brought my baby home. But anyways, that's my labor and delivery story. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment or whatever. Please, no hate or bullying. I just, you know. But peace out and see y'all later.